And I'm going to nominate Michael just to run it. That's okay. Just the logistics of it.
Run for the door. Okay.
This subcommittee piece, if that's
Yes.
cool.
Sure, that's okay. Yeah. We have to write the yearly report, and I've written a lot of these in my time, not for SPAC, but and so what I was going to do or recommend that we do is take the minutes from the last 12 months and then summarize what we've done and sort of how we do it in those little compartments, and then try to come up with where we think we ought to go next year. And one of the things at last night's SPAC meeting, I know Brittany wasn't there, but if you watched the video, a decision was made that we do it 6 times over the next 12 months, or maybe we want to revisit that at every 90 days or revisit it at 30 days or keep going. But those are things that we're planning for the future and that we should help. I heard very clearly from our chair that he's been asked to project where we plan on going, and sort of really the first time anyone's asked us where we want to go.
Right, it was kind of a quick turnaround on that, but it's good. It's good to be looking forward more.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good catch up for me. Thank you. So just to clarify that, so they're wanting, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there last night. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your understanding. I had this and if I'm a little inarticulate today, I had this major work event last night, and I worked 13 hours, and I'm at work again. So if I'm a little delirious, that's why. So they want us to start so it's that would essentially be every other meeting doing more of a summary / projection of our direction. No. The meeting last night was just talking about, we've had several SPAC meetings have been under 20 minutes. And got it.
And so, maybe it makes more sense to meet every other month and have a more robust agenda and more valuable use of our time.
That makes sense. Okay.
Whereas at the beginning of the year, we were on crisis mode and, easily going an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's all that was.
Okay.
And was just discussed.
That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. So, with this meeting, I thought I was hoping to get the minutes and then sort of categorize them over the last 12 months, but I was unable to do that because I've been writing all these grants and helping all these other organizations write their grants. So I've just been on this freaking treadmill. But now I've pretty much put that to rest, and I have a grant writer from the U of O who's now compiling the rest of it for me and us. And so I have more free time. Jenna, where do you think we ought to go?
So I appreciate that. That was a perfect summary. I had the opportunity to kind of poke through and realize how far we've come in the relatively short time frame. The only thing that I was going to ask was twofold, and I'm confident one of them is my own failure. Jessica, at one point you had mentioned either having or had potential access to a template or another subcommittee from the council. And if you have shared that, I apologize, I can't get my fingers on it. If not, if that's something that we could see sort of just for relative length and detail and that kind of thing, I think we'll have our own spin on it. The other thing
a template for what the annual report should look like?
Well, no, I mean, just kind of what has historically what's been brought to the council. So what, as I was going through the minutes, I started thinking there's a lot here. And so how granular, I guess, is what I was thinking. And I always like to just take a peek through sort of where they are, so we kind of know what they're used to seeing, and then we can tailor and incorporate that and go deeper if we need to. I think that this is going to be a really rich one compared to previous events and previous committees and things like that. But if we had seen one, that would be great. Or if we could see one, that'd be great.
I don't think one exists. I've been on for 6 years.
No, I'm sorry, not ours, from other committees. So like
Oh.
planning or the other council committees. I think is what the original discussion was.
Do you mind if I just share? I just pulled something up on.
Perfect. I poked in on Laserfish but I couldn't find it because I didn't know what I was looking for.
No, it's fine. So all I did, by the way, Michael, you're absolutely right. I didn't find one either. And so what I did is I looked on if you go to the BCC webpage for the city, there's various committees. And one of them is the BPAC.
Excellent.
They're pretty well organized. And so I just went to their latest one. It's a one-pager, quick overview of the committee, highlights from the last. And then the one thing that is kind of missing from what our intention was, it seems like, is the future initiative or near-term initiative, but it's a one-pager. There are other committees that have similar, but this one was, I mean, they're very similar in nature.
No, that's perfect. That's kind of what I was looking, just like a flavor, because I think, like I said, I think we've done a lot of great work and I think we could go really deep, and I don't want to overwhelm them too much, but I also want to demonstrate the commitment that the committee has put forward and sort of the work. The only other thing that I would put on the table is, particularly since we haven't done a report, I would actually offer, we may want to back up. I had forgotten that it was actually all the way back in 2020 when we started that monthly. As I started kind of looking through the minutes and things like that, that changed to accommodate our community's desire and need and all of the topics. It looks like it actually began in August of 2020. And so if nothing else, just like a summary of making that shift, since we were already doing it in 2020. That was the only other thing I would offer.
Yeah, I just want to say I've written 100 of these. I know how to do annual reports.
Okay.
And a format. And this is a political hotcake. So we need to be real sensitive, real fair, real balanced in this. And so we can't do like the bicycle committee. We need to wrap up briefly, clearly, concisely what happened at the meetings, some of the public input, and let the city council draw conclusions and judgments. And so this is going to be a little bit of a hot potato to do it without us putting our bias in it or departments. We just want to keep it so it's not inflammatory and it's not ignoring, but it's also not inflaming. That's a big order. You know, we've had at least I've had several different chiefs and leaders, and I think Chief Scher is doing a remarkable job. But it's a tough one, and I'm sure there's stuff behind the scenes I'm not aware of. So that's what that's going to be tough, and we need to take that responsibility seriously so that it's not weighted one way or the other.
Yeah, I try to keep it as much of like an objective summary, but of like the comment that we've gotten and the kind of responses that like the chiefs have given, and then the committee member like try to summarize it. I hear that. Yeah, I think that's smart.
And we want to be honest. You know, we've been missing the BIPOC voice, but you know, you've come on. We've got some new recruitment that was going on, so so it's not whitewash. You know, it was missing. Now it's coming, and so anyway, it's
The other thing I'd encourage us to really think about as we're crafting this is we're a council committee rather necessarily than a police department committee. And so one of the things that struck me in what you're talking about is what we need from them. And so I think that there was conversation when I was going back through the minutes
from them,
the council.
The council, okay, not police department.
Because there was a great deal of time when, to be quite honest, with my public relations hat, we were taking a lot of things that may not actually belong to us, that really belong to the council. And so either a clear understanding of their expectation around this committee's role in facilitating that public connection, because we were taking a lot of public comment in a forum that may have really belonged at their level. So those types of things, and helping them understand how they can help us delineate that for the public, and or clearly articulate, nope, that's where we want the public to share their comment. So really they need to sort of make those determinations instead of the sort of muddy middle.
Yeah, I disagree. Not to be obstinate, we need to be fair and balanced. So we're only going to address what actually occurred at those meetings. Now, if we need to meet with the council or they want to lead us in another direction, I think that's great. But representing in the annual report, I just want to.
I agree, Michael. And I don't think I mean, we had that conversation in our committee around like, are we going to hear the public comment and those kinds of things. So I know that Councilor Pishinari kind of touched on that, but it doesn't feel like that was a conclusion. And so for me, that is a question mark. So when we're talking about going forward pieces, I think that there's.
Oh, okay. Going forward, our recommendations, yeah.
Yeah, that, or even, I mean, I don't know if it's, we're recommending if the committee feels strongly one way or the other, or if it's a question, council, moving forward, here is our request of you for clarity.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and so I have some questions in terms of kind of like public records and how we can like divide this work if we're ready to kind of talk about more structural pieces in terms of how we make this actionable. I'm wondering, because my inclination is like, okay, let's get a shared doc going. We can divide up the minutes. We can all put our summaries in there, blah, blah, blah. But how would we, Jessica, like, how would we, are we allowed to do that? I guess is my, is my question, or how would we go about doing that?
Yeah, Jessica.
I have some various, specific clarification on particular interactions. The type of, I think, work and just discussing logistics of exchange of information and compilation of a report, or that's fine.
Okay.
It's any type of deliberation of, are we taking it in or are we taking it out? Are we, should this?
Okay.
So the logistics is fine.
Okay.
The anything of content or actual decisions has to be in a public forum.
Okay. Okay.
Help?
That does help. So I could so say we wanted to make like a shared Google Doc where we all just put our information in there, that we can do offline. But then once we meet again, I'm assuming, and like go through it and decide what's going to go in the final product, that would have to be another like public meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Exciting. Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds feasible. I'm like, we can do that. And I want to also talk about, I'm curious about I know we're presenting in February. And we'll also have to bring this to the committee for their deliberation and approval, right? That was for the discussion. I guess I can't believe it was already like 2 months ago, but in November. Yes.
For me, yeah, I guess I can reaffirm that was your discussion.
That's what we said. Okay.
Just what you discussed is beginning it now so that you'd have the opportunity to take it back to the committee for their review prior to the February discussion. Okay. We lucked out in having a February 22nd meeting.
Yes.
Joint meeting. So you have two meeting opportunities.
2 meetings. Okay.
However you want to use that is up to you.
Okay.
But we weren't sure about that when we made this, but that is the case.
Cool. That is very helpful. Thank you.
And the February 22nd, one thing, and it isn't anything, Barry kind of touched on it, but there is the presentation piece of it, but it did sound like the mayor was interested in the conversation piece of it as well. So I think report will be important and likely drive a lot of discussion. I just want to mention that I don't think there's an expectation of a PowerPoint or And I know that wasn't what you said. I just want to clarify that. That was like a particular example. You know, reference documentation is so helpful, but they're really eager for the conversation rather than slides or.
Okay. Well, and that's really helpful too. So we should maybe be prepared to like answer some questions, that sort of thing, in anticipation of them, yeah, having questions for us and wanting to have more of a discussion.
Do you
Cool.
do PowerPoints, Britton?
Me? I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
And a PowerPoint's great. I just think they didn't want to just sit there and just say thank you at the end.
yeah, exactly. Like some of the other like, okay, no, that makes sense.
It sounds like they just wanted to have a good exchange, and Barry did touch on that, but I think the PowerPoint piece was a specific, maybe Barry may not be a proficient PowerPoint expert. It's possible.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yes, I've made a number of PowerPoints in my day. But yeah, I can see how this context, it's like if we give them something to read in advance, and then we can kind of be ready to talk about those items and I'm trying to think too, part of me, one thing I'm wondering, sorry, this is like a little bit of a bunny trail, but did we get public comment last night? I know there's been like not a lot of public.
There was no,
none again last night. Okay.
Nobody signed up for public. I think we had one viewer and no public comment, so.
Okay.
And I haven't received any emails in the past month, which is.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Okay.
So it's quiet right now.
Yeah.
So back on task, we need to write a written report that
Yeah.
should be a few pages that summarizes the months we met, what occurred, what some of the public input was, and then where we want to go next year. I think if we divide it up into what occurred, that's also our opinion, just from the record of where it is. I know that one of the things that Jessica brought, in September, we kind of reviewed the changes to our bylaws, and then, we got them at this last meeting, and I'm glad we didn't have to start over to review them all day one again. And I think those things are important because those are things that happened, and I think the city council design are reformatted our bylaws, but
yes, with support from the city attorney's office.
yeah,
I think that was a joint effort
and brought clarity. So anyway, I just want to list all that. I also want to list, I don't think we met for a full year because of COVID, and so
if you so just for I tried to
we start in August.
So that's back. Oh goodness, come on, Sharon. Really. So this is the SPAC webpage, and it should give you a full representation of specific meetings that were canceled. So if there was a meeting, the agenda, minutes, and the actual meeting recording is available. Can you see that? Should
I can. So this is, okay. I apologize. I also have some cognitive dysfunction coming from my chemo. So I may see those little bunny trails that were just mentioned.
No, not at all. It was just one of those things that you were absolutely correct. We did have a couple cancellations based on, I honestly don't remember, but I could research it if you want. Some of it was content, some of it was convenience. But did meet in, every quarter and in 2021. And then below, we need to improve this. We were just trying, our webpage is silly.
Yeah. So in 2020, we were meeting and recording on Zoom.
As of, I think I got access to it in summer. And you can see, I think we were at that every other month.
And I think that was the one where we were doing that crazy Microsoft Teams. It's not as good.
Oh, okay.
Right. And this is,
all right.
It was normal, and then between February and August is COVID begins. I mean, if you think, what I mean, that's when it between,
That we took the 6 month, and that was in 20. Okay.
yeah.
So
And so then we really, once we got the technology to the remote to virtual meetings and took those steps, then we started meeting monthly.
All right.
So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, I'm just for my own edification. So we're looking at from what date to what date? Are we just looking at calendar year 20, or are we taking it from June of 20 to July of 21? What's our 12-month?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So can I pause for 1 second? I think we can decide whatever we want since we've never done one. So we could start our start point. And I guess that's kind of what I was mentioning at the beginning was we really did, our first meeting in August was also simultaneously when there was a great deal of community interest in a lot of police activity. And so that's when we started to recognize that the community wanted a venue and needed a venue to share feedback. And because it was all virtual, we looked into public comment, and I was poking through the minutes, and I think it was maybe September when we first started the public comment piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've always held space for public comment, but the first time it was really more utilized. I would ask us though, is our intention to capture in annual reports that I've helped put together, we capture by theme, and then we articulate under the theme. And then rather than here's January, February, March, April, May. And so as we're diving into the logistics of how we'd like to separate this out, I'm wondering if, since especially this time we're capturing such a great span of time of, almost 18 months or more, that we want to break it into, since there are pretty specific themes around public comment, and then we can break it down. This is the month that we had started it. Here's, themes. This is how many public comment people, and break it out that way. The next one would be things like policy. Here's the policies that we reviewed and why. In addition, the committee brought forward these things. Here's the police updates that we've addressed, updates from the department. Or is your preference truly to just go month by month by month?
Yeah, I agree, Jenna. I was thinking the same thing in terms of themes, again, reading my mind, and that's how I've seen it done before too, where you go through each theme. One thought that I had in terms of just like how to logistically divide it up, since we have a little bit of time too, it's like the three of us could divide by month initially, do some summaries of like comment that came in, like chief response and committee response, like anything committee responded to or raised, and then meet again to pull key themes from all of our summaries. And then that can basically, I imagine that could basically be the document, and then we bring that to the full committee, get their feedback.
We'd have to have the full draft for that meeting.
Yeah, definitely, like a final draft ready for them. And I think, but if we're organizing it by theme, and we can just we could discuss the themes, flesh them out. We could discuss the kind of going forward piece that we want to include. That would basically be a draft, right? I mean, maybe we could spend some time just like doing basic edits after that, but that would seem like it'd be the bulk of it. And unless there's other things we wanted to add too, of course.
No, the only other thing that I thought I might ask of the department, sorry, Jessica, and I'm afraid of the workloads. Hopefully there's some assistant that can help you with this kind of menial task. I would really be interested in reporting back attendees. I think that we met quarterly, we met in person, and I don't know that I ever saw a member of our community join us. And so it would be a fantastic stat for, I think, us and for our community and the council to see how many attendees we had log in at each meeting. So if I know for us, we can dump a Zoom report and it says, 17 panelists and 28 committee.
It's easy.
Okay. Because I would like to include that statistic that's not going to be captured in our minutes, I don't think.
That's a great one, Jenna. Yeah, and one thing, and maybe this is that doesn't pull names, right? I've heard a lot of like, okay, good, sweet.
It might pull names, but we just need numbers.
We have the videos, and so in order to summarize public comment. I know I took some notes, but I don't have any more. Somebody would have to probably listen and review that.
I guess I'm not even thinking just the speakers. I'm thinking everybody that watched. So we had, like, there were a couple of times when I clicked on the button so you can see panelists and attendees if you click on participants. And there were times where it was, 30 plus people that had logged in at any given time. And I think that that's impactful. And I think that the council and the community should be aware that that's an option and that people have utilized it.
Yeah, and I think at least looking at the minutes briefly, it looks like Jessica does capture the business from the audience.
Okay.
It's very lovely summarized on there.
Okay, but it's summarized. Right?
They are summaries, but people do it different ways. I'm working on my minutes taking because I'm a detail person and I know.
You do a great job. I read
Interesting.
lots of minutes from other meetings and you do an excellent job. I just want to be careful because again, I reiterate, it needs to be fair and balanced because we did get a lot of community input and I don't want to misrepresent it with my bias and theme when there was some really important stuff that maybe we should review. I don't want to be the guy that reviews it all, but I don't want to discount it either and pretend that we have that. So if we can blame Jessica, I'm good with that. We can take
But even that I think is awesome because there'll be an opportunity for kind of a high level executive summary.
Yeah.
And we'll get to say, these are, summarized by the committee. Here's the link to the page
Right.
that has all the recordings. And so folks that really do have concerns, and quite frankly, for me, I have always appreciated, sometimes we've had community members come to our board meeting and say, things were not captured correctly. And so I captured them through my lens. And if I need to hear that I'm not capturing them correctly, that's good feedback for the committee too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Precisely. Yeah, and I think once we divide up kind of like which months we're each going to do, I'll probably will go and look at some of the recordings. I also wanted to shout out Jessica. I love the way that the 2021 is organized on the website. It's been so much easier to navigate and I really appreciate that. I noticed it and I was utilizing it and thank you.
It's been can we try that again?
No, I know how that goes with websites. I'm like, let me try it a different way. But no, I really like it. Thank you. And it'll make our jobs going through a lot easier for this. And one thing to know, I don't think this is necessarily relevant, but I didn't start. So my first meeting, I don't think was till January, if that's January 2020.
that's one of the themes.
That is
No, I'm serious. Is that
no, it's true.
we've had people just come and go and disappear, and we haven't had the full contingent of members meeting regularly. And that's one of those 22 goals that should be on there. And I'm excited to meet the new members. Was you, Jenna, saying what a great group of people interviewed, or was it?
Carrie, I unfortunately, I had a work thing, so I didn't get to listen in. I was like, oh, mental note to go pull up that recorded meeting.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I think that we've all called out the fact that we have a lot of those sort of sector specific partners, but we were light on our neighborhood partners and so that is a theme. I agree. In an effort to sort of help capture what I think we're talking about, we've got 14 months. And Jessica, give me a thumbs up. I'm not sure, does the city, I feel like you guys don't use Google Docs in the same way. Are you not a big, okay. I'm happy to create a Google Doc and share it out to the world because that's all we live on here.
Where do you live? Where's here?
Sorry, I'm Springfield School District.
Oh, school district.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry that I've never clearly articulated. So let me go ahead and I can just get us a space. I'll create a folder and that way we can organize it however you want. But once I share it out in the world, you'll all be able to add change. But 14 months, we want to divide that up. Mostly 4 months plus anybody who's feeling extra.
I think we can only do 12 months. It's an annual report. Do we squeeze in 2 on our own volition?
I think we do because we haven't, I think since so much significant stuff happened in that summer in advance of this year,
Yeah.
I feel like we'd be remiss missing it. And even if we want to call out that this was prior to our current, like, here's the report, but we're including these.
Help me out
Yeah.
then. We're going to start from August of 20.
I would
Yeah.
recommend we start from August of 20 through December of 21.
I would echo that for sure. And even though I wasn't there at those meetings, I was watching them. That helps. Like I was one of those.
Yay.
for a lot.
We're looking at a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm fine with it, but can we do that?
We're breaking the rules, Jessica. Is that okay?
I think especially since this is kind of our catch up and then you want to create,
Yeah, okay, I would like to do that.
I think it's a mindful decision. So,
Right,
Yeah.
I just don't want Joe talking in my ear.
Oh, probably that too. You can blame me.
Yeah, and maybe that's a theme too. Like maybe a theme is council engagement, right? We have like you talked about, like we haven't had that as much, and now we're getting back into it, and we're getting back into kind of the routine of giving more regular updates.
So what are the themes that we want to focus on?
I think that I would propose maybe in our Google files, perhaps. Do you want to sort it out? We could do, public engagement, so public comment, attendance at meetings, those kinds of things. We've spent a great deal of time on both developing a schedule for policy, so the policies that we've reviewed each month and those kinds of, then the work of a policy committee. I would say that department initiated agenda items, so things that the department has brought to us, those are kind of different. I know the policy ones overlap a bit, but I think it's important to call out what the committee's asked for and what the department has brought forward. And then I would say, just like Brittany was saying, organically, there's going to be themes that we'll find once we dive in. So if you find a couple of months that you have that, these were really strong, that doesn't necessarily fit or deserves its own thing, maybe we just, in that document, we go ahead and like potential other themes, key highlights, whatever we want to call it. And we can start a list or a series of that. How does that sound?
Okay.
Overly
no.
complicated?
No, that sounds good to me.
No, I've got public engagement, policy review, and membership. This is the three identified areas right now as themes. SPAC membership, I should put.
And department topics, like, so how do you want to, I think that you've brought forward a really, really important piece, Michael, about making sure that it's very balanced. So how do you want to capture those items that the department brought to the committee for input and review? And I'm thinking, like, off the top of my head, I think the body worn cameras.
Yeah,
That wasn't necessarily something, or the drone program. That wasn't something that the committee initiated. Those were things that the department brought to the committee. And I think we had good discussion and on and should be captured. What does that fall under to you?
Well, I would call it,
It's kind of policy review, like, so at least for the parts of the body worn camera stuff, it was a lot of.
that was under policy review, but like drones and other things is the department presentation or the chief's corner, or I don't know, I probably have to review the agenda items to see where it fall, but it is that opportunity to for the department to roll out things, and they're pretty good about it. I certainly get a lot more. You must have hired a media person, because I'm getting Twitters and Facebook posts and all this other stuff galore the last 3 months.
Definitely. Yeah, and you all did hire a new PR person, right? Or community relations? Yes, sorry.
we do have a position that was filled temporarily, is open again, but intend to refill it.
Got it.
And we have a new community engagement piece. Now, I don't know.
Community outreach coordinator. So we have two positions.
We do, okay.
It's like one tagged in, one tagged out, and we're gonna have them both filled. But we have a lot a lot of good effort in the community outreach and community engagement going on, and trying to keep the momentum up as well, and making
Doing that well. Yeah. Somebody's
And
start
just-
that.
getting the information out. It's one of the, I don't know, it's been a focus for sure. Hopefully it's been well received. So
Yeah, it has been. I think well received. It's nice to see that someone's paying attention now, putting it out there. So
Months.
we're gonna divide up the months, or
Yeah.
do we?
Gonna do what?
All right.
Yeah, and let me pull up, I'm gonna pull up that website that Jessica shared so I can see the months laid out. I should probably do months that I was there for, I would assume. That's probably smart.
Well, I don't want to get stuck with August on there. It's not the first month.
Or I mean, maybe there's an argument for me doing months that I wasn't there for. Like it is kind of
Yeah,
interesting to
I
me. Like
just
I could go
wanna-
watch the recordings again. And again, I think I started listening in like May or June. So I was definitely listening to the August one. The August one actually might have been the first meeting I listened to. I can take, I'm just like contradicting myself, but I can take August. I can do that. And maybe that's a good one for me to kind of do through my lens, if that was when a lot of the kind of community engagement having a more.
Well, I think what I would like to do is I'm going to take the agendas from August of 20 through 21, and then I'm going to try and create sort of some themes and categorize what I want to look at, and then you say you can do something with Google Docs that we start sharing.
Yeah, so actually, as we were talking, I was just creating a Google sheet that I thought I would, with months on one side, and then who has thought they might grab that month. And then that person would be responsible for, reviewing the agenda and the minutes and the recording if need be. And then on another document in this folder I'm about to share, we can start throwing in our summaries, and I would propose that the summaries be by our key theme. And if we have an extra one that's like highlights that doesn't fit into one, that way we know if we need to start a new theme or if there's just outliers that need to be captured. So
All right.
that's the way my brain works. If it drives you crazy, I am so sorry.
No, I'm following. No, that makes sense.
No.
So what I heard was Brittany is signing up for August.
I signed up for August.
Well, and if you sign up for August, Brittany, and I think you're the perfect person, that means that you should do August, September, and October. That's a group, and that needs to be,
Okay.
we need to look carefully at what
Yeah.
it's written and doing stuff.
And I'll kind of use my identity-based perspectives to try and, again, like not have bias, but to kind of make sure that certain areas are highlighted there. If you,
What I like about both of you is you are fair and balanced. I've picked that up. So
appreciate that, Michael. Awesome. Okay, so you said September, so August, September, October. Okay.
yeah.
I can do November, December, and February because it looks like we did not meet in January. So I will just note on this little spreadsheet that there wasn't one.
What's left?
We're going to have some extras. So, if you're feeling particularly researchy. So do you want to start? We did not meet in March, but we did meet in April. Oops, I just navigated away from that page. I'm sorry.
John Steinbeck said if I had more time, it would have been shorter. So I'm all about being clear and concise and sticking to the facts and leaving the judgment to the city council. That's not to say I'm not for putting in some really pointed questions and statements that need to be done. Because I think it needs to be done. Brittany.
So how about, Michael, if you're feeling like it, April, May, June of 21?
Okay, I can.
I'm thinking I'm with you. I appreciate grouping whoever's going to review it because there were probably very consistent themes for that while.
Yeah.
Then we broke again for July. We did not meet. And And then we met August through December.
April, May. So you want me to do April, May, and June of 2021?
At 21.
I can do that. Yeah, and I could knock off several more months if those weren't as impactful as.
Yeah, I can grab one of the, yeah, because like Michael was saying, these are like short, those are definitely shorter meetings. A lot
So
of-
that leaves us the shorter ones. I think we're going to be at August, September, November, and December.
Yeah.
So if anyone's feeling particularly scholarly, we have, we could do two. Somebody could do two in a row, and then we can divide that up too.
All right, yeah, give me two more.
All right. How about we'll keep your theme. So if you do August and September,
Okay,
Brittany and I'll, maybe Brittany, again, with the idea that since you weren't there, if you want to review last night's.
Yeah,
November.
perfect.
and you're gonna have to take some time to review all the public input for those 3 months. That's gonna be a job.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. Like it'll be interesting to go back with a new, it's kind of like things have changed in so many ways since then, and to go listen. I'll definitely listen to the recordings on those for sure, I think.
And then Jessica, you sent us emails from the public because I got a whole stack of written comments that came in actually before some of the meetings. You were really great about getting us. So we should compile that too, public
great
written comment.
Yeah.
Because, I've read several hundred pages of some stuff, so.
Wow. Yeah, that was before my time for sure, but am I allowed to see that even if I wasn't on the committee? It's a public comment, right?
It's
Okay,
public, yeah.
yeah, sweet.
So. And then we should circle back in, I think, a week.
That sounds good. Yeah, and I can pull up my calendar now if it's helpful.
Yeah.
Hammer it out, save Jessica an email, maybe if we can pick a time.
For just something to be aware of, I'm going on vacation.
No,
And then-
you just got
Yes.
promoted. We have a rule.
This one's been on the books. My folks turned 80, and so
Oh,
a family, both of my parents' 80th birthday.
so sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are
Well,
they out of-
congratulations and
are-
happy birthday.
They out of town? Is that?
Yeah. On a little family trip, and it's gonna be
Right?
good. And we postponed it due to COVID, and everyone's being confident now, so we're gonna get together. It's gonna be
Yeah.
good.
Right. You're gonna have an Omicron family reunion.
We don't talk about the new strings.
I love the name. It's right out of a
Right.
Marvel's movie, Omicron.
I'm kidding. But so
So when are you on vacation?
if you guys need to meet at a time that I'm unavailable, I will have my counterpart Tiffany.
Okay.
I think it's per city process in these situations to make sure that we can make sure that we're following public meeting, that kind of thing.
Somebody needs to be there.
But I am out the 10th through the 17th.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that is a week.
I mean, this same time, if Tiffany's available, the same time next week works for me.
The 10th?
Yes.
All right. 1 o'clock?
Yes. On my calendar.
I have a couple kids in college who are always submitting their research papers and things for me to review. And it's usually like within 48 hours of it being due.
That sounds familiar.
I remind all of you to get to work on that, maybe starting this weekend so that we're not up all night Friday.
That sounds good.
Crashing the website.
Unfortunately, Tiffany is unavailable in the early afternoons because she is doing some coverage that
Okay.
related to court, which is in progress at this point.
Got it.
She is blocked out from 1 to 3 each afternoon.
Each afternoon, Monday through Friday?
Mhm.
Oh, so who else we got?
I can dig deep if you need.
Doesn't hurt to ask. does it?
Some training. We're a little lean on the admin side. I don't know
Ah,
if you've ever noticed in the police department. So, but I can find somebody else, or if it was possible, I'm sure she would run I don't want to I don't know, put this in too much, but if the noon hour is acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would accommodate that.
I've been eating my lunch as we speak.
So let me ask her, or so we'll either go noon to 1 with Tiffany, or I will find somebody else to proctor it from 1 to 2. Does that sound okay?
What judge is it? Is it Springfield Muni or,
It is, yes.
you know,
Yeah, we just need,
they may
yeah.
cancel Friday.
it doesn't quite work that way, but okay, I will make sure, I will follow up with you in regards to that noon to 1 hour or the 1 to 2. I'll arrange the appointment, make sure everything gets out. So you'll get that from me.
Okay.
Thanks, Jessica, and I'll hold both those hours on my.
And so we summarize into themes the months that we were given.
Yes, and I'm going to share out as we're done. I've been working on the administrative part. I
Google
will
Doc.
send you the link to the folder, and then we can put anything we want in there, and it'd be a shared space for us to start combining.
I got
And,
one.
yeah,
But we
just a
promised not to
reminder-
talk about it.
Just the reminder, because it's my role, discussion part is back next week. So
Okay, great. Wow. You have a fun birthday party.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's awesome, Jessica. I'm excited to hear about it when you get back.
I'll be happy to share. It'll be good.
Yeah, and I'll see you on Wednesday, right, for the interview. Will you be there? I just got the email from Wendy.
Yes, I'll be working.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe see you.
Yeah, I'd like to say hi. So we roped Brittany into a panel.
Yes, I know. I'm looking forward to it. I think
Great.
it'll be fun.
We'll be good.
Great.
Yeah, exciting. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Are we gonna call it? Be good?
All right. Look forward to my Google Doc.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.